Hi guys, Hobbs here, in a pug group for gruels. Now, since I'm guildless, pretty well every group I'm in is a pug. But of course I knew the raid leader here, and I knew probably 60% of the raid. At the end you'll see I have my DPS gear on, but I threw my sword and shield on, my mason shield, because the two tanks, we had a warrior and a druid, ended up dying, which wiped most of the party. We actually got them down to 1-2%. The one thing I wanted to show with this raid was actually the drop before, which I wasn't recording. I finally got my shoulders. It was really nice because the raid leader, when I went in, he said that if two shoulders of the fallen champion were dropped, that one of them was reserved. I'm like, well, I kind of need one, but I didn't say anything. I thought, well, I still have the chance to roll on one regardless. Then when it dropped, of course I have different tabs, as you see, for chat tabs and stuff. People started saying congrats, and I'm thinking, well, why? I haven't rolled on anything yet. And I checked over on my loot table, and he had actually given it to me, so thank you very much. That was cool. Now I have a full set, all epics. I'm really only going to go for the two tiers, the glove and the shoulders, for the first bonus. The other bonus, I think, with the badge items I have right now, is more powerful. And plus, because I'm exalted with the Aldor, I actually went down and, or revered, I forget, I'm at the top. I went down and I actually enchanted the 15 dodge, 10 defense on it. And then afterwards I threw 2 epic gems in it. In my gear updates you'll notice that most of the gems I threw in were epics. They usually go for 300 gold a pop. These ones I found for 250 a pop, so only 500 gold, which was nice, saved me 100 gold. Now, in my last video, I did a bit of Stratholme, and I want to talk a little bit more on it, because some of the comments, some people said, oh yeah, well, show us the gold that you're making out of it, which I haven't really done. I've explained the gold process, the pulling process, the looting process, but I haven't explained the auction process and, of course, receiving the gold as well, which is nice. I will show more on my auction in my next few videos. I'm going to show you a few of my bankers. I actually have 4 alts that are bankers. Each one serves a different purpose. Some of them is exclusive to myself. Another one I use to buy and sell items. And another one I use sometimes when I partner up with another level 70. What I do is, rather than him selling his half and me selling my half, we put on free-for-all loot. At the end of the run, he gives me everything, I sell it, and I split it right down the middle. That way you're not competing against each other in prices on the auction house, because there's no need undercutting your friend when you both work together to get these items. It works out a lot better. Within a few days I send the X number of gold, or every time I get a bit. Another strategy I have with one guy is he actually has a guild he uses just for an alt, and I'm in that, and it's really just when I get my cut I throw it in the guild bank, and it kind of keeps track. Like I'll show you a little scene about gathering the loot from a. And of course I call it a disenchanter because my enchanting's not max. It's max to where I need it. But basically I disenchant all these things, and normally you click on the things that you receive. I keep my bankers at 30 gold each, because the 30 gold is just a nice number. It's almost like, a cashier having to float at the beginning of the day. Then I send Hobbs the excess. Here I'm sending him, and I'll read it off because I know if you watch this in high quality on full screen it's still hard to read. So here's some of the few trips to my mailbox from the Stratholme run. You notice I start off here, it's starting to creep up to 100, 130. I'm using the add-on right now, CT Mail Mod, because I don't like clicking back and forth. It's too much time, especially when you're auctioning off this number of items. So it's getting above 200 now, and as you see it's going through a lot of these things. Remember I mentioned last show, sometimes it's 18 gold, sometimes it's 2 gold, sometimes it's 5, whatever, but it all adds up. Here I got 320 something, I think it is. It's hard for me to read on the video editor mode, so I know that I do send myself after this 300 gold, and I keep around 30 for myself, or for the banker I should say. Now another trip back, this is a few hours later, started at 18 gold, going through, it's up to 30 something. And like I said, watch this in high quality, full screen. That way you'll be able to see everything. It's above 100 now. I think it's one. Let me see, what do I sell it and send myself here? 72, so it was 102 gold that time. And this is all off one gold, but I'm checking over the, a period of a couple days. And the nice thing is the stuff that doesn't sell the first time, I can resell it, later, maybe at a lower price. That's why I do have multiple bankers too, because sometimes you might be farming, let's say, 3 instances a week. I am a very part-time player, so I might only farm like anywhere from 1 to 3 instances a week for gold. I do instances for other reasons, like upgrading my gear and that. But I like to know what rewards I got from that, because the economy changes. So if I'm, let's say, farming Stockades or Strathholm or SM or anything higher or anything lower, I want to know if it's worth my time, because if all of a sudden, that market kind of fades away and, you're doing a run, you're only making 120 gold, you're like, this isn't worth my time anymore. And the other thing is you can't really farm too much of one instance, because if you farm too much of one instance, you're just going to flood the market in that. One thing I was worried about when I first put out these videos was I going to create too much competition on the auction house, because I was doing this and I always had more than enough money, but you know what? The more you have, the more I have. Here we are at Lights Hope Chapel. I just wanted to show you, because one of the other rewards for doing Strathholm is your reputation. You up your reputation with them, and then you can actually go and get into NAX if you're honored or above, and the higher you are, the less you have to spend. One of the things that you actually have to spend to get in here is Righteous Orbs, which I get out of Strathholm. That's the reason why they sell. They also sell the Righteous Orbs in a Strathholm run, by the way. I normally farm the left side, and I'll do it twice. I forget about the undead side, although I'll do it once in a while because I kind of want that Death Charger mount. But if I farm the left side, I have a good chance of getting a few orbs, which sell minimum 30 gold on my server, but the average is about 50. And once I got it for 75, and I actually had a buddy who actually sold one for 100. But then again, it depends how fluctuated the market is. Of course, if I have like 10 people out of the thousands that watch on my server, 10 people go on and now they're farming this, well, all of a sudden the prices will go down. So that's why you do have to keep the instance varied. This is from when I was in my last guild. I actually dumped a couple thousand in orbs and time and getting people, honored and above, and buying their mats, because I wanted to get into Nax as a guild like I was doing with ZG. I still have more ZG footage, but I'm thinking, I didn't really want to show it this week, and I'll save that for later. Nax is a lot different than ZG. Like, we were going through the trash really, really fast, but the bosses are hard. I don't think we had the right makeup. In this case, it's a 40-man instance, but we only had 20 people. And yes, some of them were 70, but once again, we kept it between 60 and 70 so that people could learn from each other and grow as a group. Speaking of that, I am missing being in a guild. The time off has given me some time to think. I am going to be creating a guild in the future, but I will announce it first on video, because I want the people coming in knowing what to expect, what they're jumping into. It's not going to be, I'll save it for that video, but I want a very positive guild, PvE. You can do some PvP if you want, but that's where the main focus is on high-end raids, and also having lower players that will grow together to get into that. Again, I don't want to turn it into where people expect to be power level, but at the same time, if there's a day I want to run SM, I'd rather run it through my guild, because they get the gear, they get the loot, they get all the other fun stuff. There is one item I do want in here, so after I get that guild going, I'd like to go back and hit this instance, because it was actually brought on by a challenge by one of my viewers sent me mail saying go to Nax because it won't be here once the Lich King comes. So any artifacts we got, and I call them artifacts rather than items, because once it's gone, you can't go back and re-get them. So in this last scene, you'll notice it was Hobbs versus Death Knights, and it won't be too long once the expansion's released, it will be Hobbs fighting with Death Knights, which is a time I'm looking forward to. There'll probably be a lot going into Strathholm. I'll probably power level a few, Rate this one, guys. Let me know honestly, high or low, how you liked it. Add it to the favorites if you really liked it. And subscribe so you'll see my next couple episodes I'm working on, those behind the scenes auctions.